Hey everyone, it's Em. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Two Girls Shooting the Shit with Em and Mo. On Friday, SCOTUS officially reversed Roe v. Wade, declaring that the 50-year constitutional right to abortion no longer exists. Listen in as we discuss the decision, its implications, and how we feel about life going forward. Make sure to join the conversation with us on Instagram Live Tuesday night at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern.
You got to have the baby or you're going to go to jail. You're going to kill yourself at that point.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I told you too, that a lot of these self-deletions, these suicides were going to go up because of this. I think the women today are different from the women back then. And I don't know what's the cause of it. And I may be wrong. I don't know, but I feel like back then women were using hangers, doing things to get the baby out.
Whoopi Goldberg talks about that.
Women today just going to be out.
Yeah.
Like we out.
I ain't living like this. Yeah. Hey, girl.
Hey, Momo. How are you?
I'm okay. How you doing?
I'm still sick. Sounding like death. So sorry about my voice.
Not COVID.
No, not COVID. It's got a negative test.
It's probably a new COVID going on. You're like, oh,
it's probably got monkeypox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. You hope you ain't got no monkey on your pox. So no pox on your monkey.
Where my pox at? Where my pox at?
Get at me, pox. Whoa, Lord, it's been a week.
Girl, this is exhausting.
What is this?
Like life.
Yeah, agree. I ain't here for it. Beat me up.
This is insane.
What's next? Okay, so you want to fill everybody on what just happened?
Well, I mean, the opinion was leaked months ago, so everybody knew, but the Supreme Court just quote unquote overturned Roe v. Wade. So basically stripping women of a fundamental constitutional right that women have had for 50 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now it's,
I'm so confused though, because Roe v. Wade, I thought, well, from what I read, was fundamental right to privacy.
Yeah.
But this was based on, the Constitution does not confer right to abortion. And it says something about ordered liberty. Abortion is not deeply rooted in the history. I don't know. They just make up. I mean, that's what they always do.
That's the wording, right? They say, oh, well, abortion doesn't appear in the Constitution. A lot of things don't appear in the Constitution, interracial marriage is not in the Constitution. The word she is not in the Constitution. You know what I mean? Like women aren't in the Constitution until later amendments came. The 19th Amendment. Mm-hmm. But to say that it's not specifically enumerated in the Constitution puts into question a lot of things that were not specifically enumerated in the Constitution.
They were saying that Planned Parenthood v. Casey abandoned any reliance on a privacy right and instead grounded the abortion right entirely on the 14th Amendment due process clause. Okay, so that was Planned Parenthood v. Casey. Mm-hmm. And that was when they changed from strict scrutiny to undue burden test. I don't even remember what that was. Is that the one where it's...
well, now it's not. Now it's none of those. It's not undue burden. It's not strict scrutiny. It's a rational basis test.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Which is basically anything that comes before the court. They can be like, for any rational basis, be like, nah, the law is legal. So if they can find, which is not hard to do, a rational basis for a woman to have to wait for the heartbeat to seek approval from her husband, again, that's something they can enact back in law, is you have to get approval from your husband to get an abortion, which to me is like, are we property again? Like, what is this?
Finna be.
To me, it's not, and I hate it when people say, but it's a life. It's not about that. It's about the choice aspect, the autonomy aspect. It's not about I mean, because if they can do this, what else can they tell you can't decide on? What else do they,
You can't even
take out
decide
of
on
your
your
hands?
own body, but they always
And
talking about these vaccine. You have the right not to get a vaccine and all this stuff, but you can't even have a right to control your own body. And it's the slippery slope of it all. Like, I think there was a series of cases that this may be the beginning. I think John Cornyn made something that what he wanted Plessy v. Ferguson, which said segregation is illegal or something, like unconstitutional. He wanted that overturned. Like, what's
no, well, I don't think he wanted it overturned. I think they're comparing it to Plessy and Board of Ed, Brown v. Board of Ed, and talking about how sometimes the Supreme Court, quote unquote, gets it wrong. And you're allowed to turn over what you deem to be precedent. So Plessy, separate but equal was precedent for quite a while, until Brown v. Board of Education said,
no, he said, now do Plessy v. Ferguson / Brown v. Board of Education. So what did he mean?
What is it? What does the whole sentence or whatever say, or the whole
today? So Barack Obama said, today the Supreme Court not only reversed nearly 50 years of precedent, it relegated the most intensely personal decision someone can make to the whims of politicians and ideologues, attacking the essential freedoms of millions of America. And then Senator Cornyn responded, now do Plessy v. Ferguson / Brown v. Board of Education.
Right. He's saying, now speak as if it's Plessy v. Ferguson and see how silly you look. They're trying to compare the two. They're trying to say, listen to what you're talking about, with Roe v. Wade, and change the court cases and see how you sound. But do it Plessy v. Ferguson, like Brown v. Board of Education, change precedent from Plessy v. Ferguson, separate but equal, taking away blah, blah, blah. Like, they're trying to compare the two. And they're not. They're apples and dogs. They're not even apples and oranges. It's two completely different fucking
somebody
plants.
said that what he's trying to say is shows that overturning long-term precedent is often necessary and positive.
Right. Which is,
sometimes depends on it. Like through Dred Scott, like, I feel like it's whatever the people in place want to do at the time. And you get enough people. I don't think that's what people took Trump as a joke. I never did. I knew the implications of Trump being president.
I think a lot of people knew the implications, especially the people who didn't vote for him knew the implications.
Yeah.
And I think I texted you this the day of, yesterday or 2 days ago. I said, this lies at the feet of white women who decided they couldn't vote for Hillary. They couldn't stomach Hillary. The reason she lost, because this wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened. So if you're crying about it and you didn't vote the right way, then you need to go cry somewhere else.
Well, that ended up being a myth or something, because I looked into that and it said, like, I think the initial findings were there's like 53% of white women voted for Trump, but it still was close. It was like 47% voted for Trump. Still,
which is still unbelievable to me.
Considering
he's grabbing people by the pussy, but you gonna vote for him. Who knows how many abortions he's paid for? Let's be real.
That's the problem. That's the thing.
And you're gonna vote for him.
We got two people who had sexual, harassment allegations, or even worse, allegations, sitting on the Supreme Court. What do we think that they care about a woman's right to privacy or right to choose what she does with her body? So, or even like, it's even goes beyond that, because somebody made a good point. What if you're trans and you're sexually abused or something?
That's a whole nother issue. Just being trans, period.
Yep. It's like, that's a lot of implications. Like, it's a slippery slope of stuff that I don't even want to think about. I know we were talking about how I went to a protest, and it feels futile.
Talk about it.
It feels futile. I mean, you have people saying, stuff. One girl, what did she say? She kept saying, delete the fetus or something like that. And it's like, yeah, these are like catchy things, or abolish the Supreme Court, or all of these signs and stuff. And you see the power and the numbers of people. That's the only thing that I can think of. But what else?
It's just like, people in their feelings. They need a place to release that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's what those protests were. But what actions do come from that?
What are the outcomes? What do we do next? And I think that's the problem. And And with the Democrats, like, I think all the Democrats should be voted out because they're the ones who sit idly by, manipulate and use people and don't really do anything. They lack strategy. Like, these Republicans have strategy. Like that whole Mitch McConnell, Merrick Garland, that's strategy. Like, we always thought it doesn't matter. And then look, turned around. What did they do? Last minute, they got somebody in the Supreme Court when RBG died. They got somebody in there. There wasn't that whole argument went out the window because it was somebody else. It was their turn. So that's what I'm saying. It's whatever they want at the time. You just find some words and put whatever you want at the time and see if you can pass. And that's what happened. So
well, I think definitely gone are the days of when they go high or when they go low, we go high. At that Michelle Obama stuff, I feel like that was cute. I wasn't feeling it when she said it. And I'm definitely not feeling it now because it's a different reality. I heard someone say when they go low, we go toe to toe. And I like that a lot better.
We need to be like, how low can you go? Shoot.
Let's go. Like, why are we trying to be nice?
What's the strategy? What's the plan? Like all this bullshit thoughts and prayers. Joe Biden came and said a bunch of word diarrhea, but what's the real outcome? Like I'm sick of it. And this is not just like, I care about that people's right to privacy as far as abortion. I'm pro-choice, but it's more the slippery slope of things, how this can lead into, LGBTQIA issues, racial is like, we don't know where this is going. Like,
right. And Justice Thomas alluded to where he wants it to go. And it goes directly there to, sexual relations with two consenting adults, being able to regulate that, being able to regulate marriage equality. I love how he started talking about all these rights, but he left out loving. He left out loving that case that impacts him and his insurrectionist wife.
Yep.
That's funny.
Right. That's why, like, Clarence Thomas is the perfect example why, like, quotas and things don't work. Like, you can't do things based on race. Like, it has to be a bigger, like, picture of a person.
But here's the thing, though, is when you try to use quotas and you're not the party of quotas, so you think you're doing it right, you end up with a Clarence Thomas. You end up with a Herschel Walker running over here with mystery kids he ain't even told anybody about.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. They keep popping up.
Yeah, so it's one thing to pick
that's going to happen now.
A Ketanji Brown Jackson, or to pick, a Kamala Harris, or to pick a whomever, any person of color, any person of a differing lifestyle than what's considered the quote unquote norm. It's still a qualification game, and I think that some people think that it's not. So when they go get a sexual harasser, assaulter, who whatever. Yeah, like they don't care about the qualifications. They just think, oh, skin's right, let's go. And that just messes the whole thing up. That
let's
makes
get a puppet.
That delegitimizes the DEI and all that kind of stuff for people. So, but this is, I think there has to be a plan. There has to be. I'm conflicted. I mean, I was obviously raised Catholic. I have my personal opinions on abortion, obviously. But for me, it's not, when I vote, I vote about rights. And you would think Republicans would get that. Republicans, libertarians would get that. These are rights. The government shouldn't be in your uterus. The government shouldn't be in your bedroom.
I thought they were all about, they don't want the government involved in their business. Exactly. Give me my guns, all this stuff. But then you want the government all up in
morality. They're trying to make it a Christian country. That's what they're trying to do.
This is bigger than, like, I can't even conceptualize, like, this is bigger than this. I don't know if it's corporations. I don't know what hand is driving this, but it's something bigger. It's not just.
It's a church. That's the corporation. Yeah. That's the corporation running this.
Well, they run the churches. Yeah.
The church is a corporation.
Yeah. Like, all that money going in and out.
Time to tax them.
Time to tax them. Yes. Because that's a scam in itself.
I was looking at it. My mom is probably one of the most Catholic people in the whole world. She's pro-choice. But I told her, I said, the Catholic Church started this mess. They were really, I think evangelicals ran away with it, but there's a lot to be said. There's a special that was going around. I think it was Samantha Bee who interviewed, she used to be on Comedy Central, with Trevor Noah, whatever show that, I can't think of it right now. But she's like a comedian, but she does a lot. Abortion's like a big issue for her. And she interviewed leaders or theologians from different backgrounds. Somebody who practices Islam, Judaism, Catholicism, whatever. And they were talking, and it was like, you can have an abortion is okay. I don't know the word, not okay, not like, hey, we're doing abortion, but like, it's okay. In Islam, there's no conflict. In Judaism, no conflict. And something happens, all of a sudden you get to Catholicism, you got all these men running stuff. They can't do, you can't, I don't know what it is, but it's like a mortal sin, or like I don't know. But I mean, people are pulling out the Bible. I'm not claiming to know the Bible, but life in the Bible begins at first breath. So what does that tell you? Like, why are we talking about heartbeats? And
I don't know, the Bible got all kind of stuff in there. You can pick and choose whatever.
It does. I don't know why we're even but I don't even know why we're using the Bible to justify things. But if we're going to do it, where's your justification?
People. You need something outside.
Because it is a life. It is a child. I believe. I mean, it's hard to say it's not.
I always thought it was right? So for me, I'm pretty conservative. I don't believe in abortion personally, but it's not my body.
Right. Thank you. That's the point.
I think it's your choice. I do believe it's a life at conception.
That's a good movie.
I do believe it's a life, because if they weren't a life, then you wouldn't be getting manslaughter cases if I hit you drunk and you're pregnant.
But you want to hear something? I have a friend who works for child services, and there's no child abuse for that. There's no child endangerment.
You somebody,
like, at least in her state, there's no child endangerment. If you do something to, I guess for her, she can't. What did she say? I don't know. She said something about like you can't.
Feticide, if that I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, her state
law,
Oklahoma. Oklahoma, which is
Yeah.
one of the most strict on this issue, right? Has banned abortion outright since before this. Has been trying to do that. The crazy thing is Oklahoma doesn't even recognize a fetus as a person to investigate child abuse with.
Wait, what?
They don't recognize a fetus as a person with regards to child abuse.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it says civil wrongful death includes unborn child. I guess that's money involved. Any offense committed does not require proof that they had knowledge that the person was pregnant. It looks like that may have changed, because it says defines unborn child as a human being. Homicide does not include legal abortion or instances of death during non-medical, which they don't have legal abortion. So why would that even be in this statute? A mother shall not be prosecuted for the death of unborn unless the death was a result of criminal behavior. Any woman convicted of any person convicted of, this is Oklahoma State Title 20, Chapter 644 or whatever, Section 644. Any person convicted of domestic abuse committed against a pregnant woman with knowledge of the pregnancy is guilty of a misdemeanor only. And a person convicted of domestic abuse committed against pregnant women with knowledge of the pregnancy or miscarriage or injury to the unborn child is guilty of a felony, punishable by imprisonment for not less than 20 years. So, I mean, that's something. It's not murder, but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like, we do recognize, that's why I focus more on the personal choice thing, because I do believe they are a person, and they might not make it to viability, but it's a beginning stage. And so that's the same reason why if you beat somebody up, they're pregnant, you're going to go to jail for not just that person, but you also get a punishment for the fetus. So that's recognized of something. Like, I don't know, how do you define that? Like, that's personhood, or what is it? Potential? Like, this was potentially could have been a person, and you robbed that person of the chance versus them making a decision.
Why are we so wrapped up in the potential of something? We have people, if I have 3 children, if one of them ends up in the hospital and needs a kidney, am I mandated to give them my kidney? They're my child. Do I have to give it to them? They're a living person.
You might not even be a match.
But they
don't care about kids once they're born.
But that's my whole point. even if I was a match, if everything was perfect, they're my child.
Mhm.
Do I have to do it?
Mm-mm.
And first side note, I would give them the air in my lungs. I would give them anything. But am I mandated by law to do so?
But that's
No.
you again. That's a you decision. I'm just
Right.
comparing it to the
But
external.
this is what I'm saying though. This should
Mhm.
also be a me decision. Do I give up my body? Like women still dying in
It
childbirth,
is a
people.
yeah. I'm not disagreeing that it shouldn't be.
Right. But I'm saying, like, I'm just trying to draw the comparison here is when
Mhm.
people are living and outside the womb and walking around as
Oh,
full
okay. We
human
changing the
beings,
subject. Gotcha. I was like a confused.
we don't care now.
Mhm.
But when they have to occupy space in my body, take my energy, take my blood, take my food, take my everything, right? Take up space in my body, literally break my body to come out of it, and then cause me to bleed. For like
Mhm.
childbirth is not something you should have to do.
Mm-mm.
Um, and I think about instances of rape. I think of instances of incest. I think about children who are menstruating as young as 7, 8 years old, who could fall prey to this. And then you say they have to, because most of these states are not including rape and incest exceptions.
Mhm.
How disgusting is that? Like, this
Yeah,
is
that's
some
sick.
Gilead
Yeah.
shit. This is
So
like
what's the penalty? What happens if someone's found to have, they go to jail? Like what is the
some of it's like they're felonies,
damn.
like 5 years, some of them up to
So your
15
dad
years.
raped you, you got to have the baby, or you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna kill yourself at that point.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I told you too, that a lot of these
Yeah,
self-deletions, these suicides were going to go up because
yeah.
of this. I think the women today are different from the women back then. And I don't know what's the cause of it. And I may be wrong. I don't know, but I feel like back then women were using hangers, doing things to get the baby out.
Whoopi Goldberg talks about that.
Women today just gonna be out.
Yeah,
Like, we out.
I ain't living like this. Yeah,
So that's
but it's
and
again, it's the same people. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, a good number of the women, over, I don't know if it's over 50%, it's a high number. We talked about this before, are already mothers. They have children.
Yeah,
They can't just be out,
it was
So do
sad.
we care about these women, these children?
I was listening to the radio and it was just like moms calling in. These are like white middle class women with kids and husbands and stuff. And things happen in life where they couldn't have the kid, and so they had to get abortions and stuff. Like, people don't talk about that. They try to make it look like it's some woman just in the
Low
streets out
income
here,
person
yeah,
doing
or
their own,
some
yeah.
promiscuous party girl or something. It's not always the case. And it's just people living their lives and something happens. And then they also said something that I was curious about. Fetus was abnormally severe fetal abnormality. Like, how's that going to be
Yes.
defined?
This is, with my first, we had to do a lot of genetic testing. Stuff came up funky on the testing.
Oh, wow.
So there's lots of things that your child can have. Trisomy 13, trisomy 18, those are two things. And this is beyond like, oh, my kid may have Down syndrome, my kid may have, because that's different. They can live and thrive. Trisomy 13, really? Trisomy 18, these children are born and die within like a day.
Yeah.
Like, they are not meant to live. They're not meant to live in the world, right? They can't. And so I think it's a woman's right, or a married couple's or partners, whoever the parents are. It's their right to make a decision, like whether they want to put themselves and that child through that. I don't even know if it's painful for them. I don't know. They're born into the world, which is traumatic for a child, I feel like, anyways, and for a woman. The whole process is a trauma. Like, this is crazy. And then for them to be around for an hour or two and then pass on. Yeah. What's the I feel like that's a moment where you should be allotted some grace to say, hey, you know what? Yeah. This isn't going to be nothing but suffering.
Yeah, let them decide. Because some parents want to. Like, I was passing through and it was looking real weird on somebody's feed. And I was like, ooh, I read it. And it was like, they had the baby and the baby like immediately died.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there, like, had a baby dressed up. But that was their personal choice. Exactly.
That's the choice.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying, is that it's crazy, because if you are a child and you're in low income or something, they don't make any effort to try to make sure that you have the resources you need, the healthcare you need, the food you need, the proper education. So, and they never, when you ask them about it, they never answer. And that's what
but adoption. That's what they keep throwing up as a response. What, have y'all forgot about adoption?
Who's gonna adopt? Nobody adopted.
There's kids out there now, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna add hundreds upon thousands more children to a system that is failing the children that are already in it.
Are they trying to build up an army?
It's underfunded. I don't understand. It's birth for the sake of birth.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense to me.
And my whole thing is, I'm not even trying to speak to any other woman about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. I know what I would do. And it changes. If I were to get pregnant today, that's one thing. If I got raped and got pregnant, that's a whole different discussion we're having. There's different, it's a discussion, it's a choice. It's between me, my family, my faith, doctor, whatever.
Yeah.
But my decision is none of your business. Your decision is none of my business, but you should have the decision to,
right. It should be a choice. I need to get my stuff in a row, because at this age I could die. So it's like, then do I want to die? You know, like, I mean, I do, but like, do I want to like die and leave a kid, you know, alone? Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff to think about.
But I mean, this is also bringing light or casting light upon a lot of issues I think that we failed to discuss, which is, we've talked about it before, Black maternal mortality, access to care, because this also, we talk about race all the time, and I'm tired of talking about race, but this does impact, you know, income and race. It impacts that. And so the people getting hurt by this are the people who always get hurt by everything. And that's, you know,
how Black women will look, the Washington Post, dang, how Black women will be especially affected by the loss of Roe with higher maternal, we just talked to, see, we don't even need the news. We were just talking about this, higher maternal mortality, more problems with pregnancy, worse healthcare, less insurance. So it's going to be Black women dying in these streets because they're going to have to be forced to have a baby and then die of the side effects and stuff, or going through these things, like you're saying, these testing, like a lot of people don't have access to that. It's all messed up. And so it's like people don't have access to these things, and they might end up having a kid or trying to have a kid. Then the kid's going to be a burden to the state, because like you said, what if the kid wasn't viable? And so you're sitting here.
A kid with severe special needs, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's if you want to do that, that's fine. But if they didn't, then they don't have any support from the state. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. None of this makes sense to me at all. And
then also, let's talk about another side effect is women miscarry. Oh. Okay, that too. But women miscarry.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to go to jail?
It happens often. So to have something so traumatic happen to you, especially for a planned or a wanted pregnancy, to lose that child and then have people questioning you about it in a time when you need to be given love is will they have more scrutiny? It's going to change the way. I mean, I don't know. You go to the doctor, you miscarry, you go to the doctor, they're probably gonna be like, what did you do at home? What you've been eating, what you've been drinking.
Give them a test to make sure.
Did you do this? And there's already enough guilt put on a woman who's like, what did I do? What did my body, how did my body fail? You know, like these are the questions that I think women ask when they have a miscarriage, is like, did I do something wrong? And now you're gonna have somebody questioning whether they did something wrong and reinforcing that belief. We better up these mental health people too. I mean, because this is. And then birth control. You mentioned birth control. That's another. It's on the chopping block. Chop, 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 chop. So no birth control. No education about sex at all, because we don't do that here.
Why is this all put on the woman?
That's a good. And that's why this right doesn't seem to matter to many besides women, because that's the inequality of it all. And this is just biology, though. Like this is.
Yeah.
This isn't even like somebody decided to do this and said only women have to deal with this. This is like literally how life is.
God.
We're trying to find a way. We're trying to find a way to make it fair, or make it less something that's done to us and something we choose, right?
You're just vessel. Well, I don't know why I say that, because I have the body parts, but yeah, it's just, you're just a vessel, you know. It's just like
that's what they're reducing us to. Yeah, that's what it feels like. You're just a vessel. And we are vessels, but it's also like I'm the captain of this vessel as well. So
master of your domain. I guess not.
I guess not. So it's going to be interesting because abortion is as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And I don't know that people realize that. Like, this isn't some new, like, oh, these new progressive people are out there trying to do things. And what, like, people have been having abortions
Yeah.
since forever.
But it's just like, why is this a topic? Like, there are people starving, people don't have jobs, there's crime, people getting murdered. Like, there's so much stuff going on, and this is what we're talking about.
Because people got fanatical about it. That's what it is.
It's like
People,
what's that called? Where they try to distract you out of, like, and you still sitting here suffering. Like, we're all suffering.
yeah. Well, it's about to be more. I feel like it's about to be more. It really is some Handmaid's Tale stuff. Like, I really feel like these
Mm-hmm.
little steps that we're taking are looking
Yeah,
more and
slippery
more like
slope.
we setting up Gilead. Like, we're really,
Mm-hmm.
because there's going to come a point with whatever where women have a hard time having children, and they're going to be concubining us, and
Mm-hmm.
well, not us. We're going to be too old for that. But I
And
see it.
I feel like
It's
it just
scary.
goes to, there's the inherent evil nature of mankind, I believe, because
You mean
all the tech,
humankind?
no, women don't exist.
Yeah, not in the Constitution, apparently.
All this technology, all this so-called advancement we have, and yet here we are. We're back 50 years, and we're going to keep going back, way back to the day. That's ridiculous. Like, what's next? I don't know. If they bring slavery back, deuces. I'm
Uh,
not, like, can I get my Captain Save a Hoe
how can they
euro?
do that?
I don't
How would
know.
they do that? But
They
how can
always
they do
find a
this?
way. Yeah. Like, they're always find a way to do whatever they want to do. I mean, but they're like international human rights laws and things like that now. I have a question.
Yeah.
What would be so bad about dividing the country again? Just going back to Confederacy and a union. What would be the bad about that? If we have international laws in place, so they can't have slaves still.
Then what would they be divided for? What reasoning are they pulling away from?
Like rights, human rights, because like abortion, I think most countries, like developed countries, have that right. So
What isn't that shocking? Like, there's so many things that these developed countries have. And
healthcare,
there's so many things. And
education, no gun mass shootings every week.
I mean, they were saying that these guns, you have more
They don't
rights
care about
surrounding
life.
guns.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is you're going to say you have to have this baby, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't protect it in school once it's
Mm-hmm.
out because this gun is
Preach.
more important than your choice to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we are seriously pro-life, be about that life. You know what I mean?
We should
Like,
all be hippies or something if we're pro-life. It's like we're
I'm
not gonna
down for
shoot.
that. You know what? I if we cared, like we pretend to, we, the general, we, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
cared the way we claim to care, we pretend to care, we protest and march to care,
Mm-hmm.
this wouldn't be that big of an issue. I mean, it's still an autonomy issue, but if there were resources, if there were people coming around, midwives coming, people giving care, and we got you, there's none of that here. You really are on
Mm-hmm.
your own. So why can't I make my own choice? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if nobody's got me, like in communities and families and that have that kind of care for an individual, families who have
Mm-hmm.
means, who come around to rally, will take care of that. A lot of people are on their own. They don't have that support system. They don't have the government support. They don't have friends and family support. They don't have all of that. And now you're saying you
Mm-hmm.
don't even get to choose for yourself. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And
But
then for
imagine
rape
some
and
13 or
incest,
12. Yep, exactly. 13, 12-year
yeah,
old, your uncle rapes you. Now you got to go have the kid. You can't even
literally
imagine.
breaking your body. A small, not even 13. They could be as young as 7 or
12,
8,
11. Yeah, 9.
even younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It would break a child's body.
And
That's
mind, soul, spirit.
everything. Yeah, everything. Again, it would do it again after it's already been done.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And then we didn't talk about health of the mother, but I mean that's a whole nother, because who
We did on
determines?
the Black women. Yeah.
But who determines? Who determines if your life's really, how much suffering can
Mm-hmm.
you take before I say, okay, we can help you out?
But that's what I'm saying. If I die, then who's going to take care of the kid? Like,
Even before the dying, though, if we have an exception for the woman's health, health and life of the mother.
I don't even think they have. Do they
What's
have that anywhere?
some of them do. What's the threshold? Who decides how far that woman has to suffer before they decide they can abort the baby?
Ain't that some shit? I said, ain't that some shit? Oh, ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Goddamn. We live in a country, the United States, where people care more about fetuses than actual people who are born, living, breathing human beings on this earth. I'm convinced that this is part of something bigger that I'll never understand, something that's designed to cause confusion, perpetuate division. I have no idea. If people who call themselves pro-life were actually pro-life, then they'd care about children's health care. They'd care about food scarcity and children having access to nutrition. They'd care about education and kids getting a proper education, and including college education. And also, kids wouldn't be used as target practice the way they are now. So are they really pro-life, or are they pro-birth? And also, just happened yesterday in the news in Iowa, a truck ran through a crowd of protesters who were protesting for abortion rights. So again, another example that they give zero fucks about human life. They only care about people being born, and they're only here to cause confusion, division. For what? I don't know what the end game is. It doesn't make any sense to me, but beam me the fuck up, because this ain't it, baby. I was like, I know too many people.
If the eggs, but you know what? I've also known of quite a few people who got pregnant with IUDs in, which is scary.
Yeah, because they make it sound so like, oh my God, if you get pregnant, that's it.
Because there's a foreign device in there.
Yeah, so.
Right? So it has to be removed immediately.
Yeah.
But then, when do women find out they're pregnant?
That's the thing. Like some people
take several weeks. Yeah.
My friend was just saying her friend didn't find out she was pregnant and she just had a baby. Like she just didn't find out she was pregnant until she was 2 months pregnant.
2 months?
2 months.
Yeah. If you don't have regular periods.
Yeah. Or you're not in tune with your
side
body.
Effects. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not expecting it to, you wouldn't even know what to think about. Like if you're high stress or if you're doing, which is everybody right now.
That's everybody.
You may not know. And some women don't have, your typical side effects or your morning sickness or whatever, breast tenderness, whatever. Yeah, but this was huge. It was huge. What it's done with, the Supreme Court is garbage. Like trust or confidence in the Supreme Court, garbage. It's now another political arm of the government.
It's been though, but I know you don't believe that.
But now it's blatantly so. Mm-hmm. Like there's no even trying to hide it.
I got into it. I had to block this girl. This one of my bartenders booty call. She had added me on Instagram and gonna go into my DMs because I said Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have been gone and strategically left while Obama. Now, who's to say Mitch McConnell, like something could have happened? Who knows? But should have left in advance because she died during Trump, and they were able to get someone else in, and that is part of why we're here today. And she was
someone else too.
Yeah, because that's what you do. You step aside. You take your ego aside. Yes, you want to do the work. Do it in a different way. Yeah, that's what he did. Thank you. You take your ego aside and let the younger people come. They did it. Scalia did it with Roberts or something. Like, I don't know. Wait, Scalia died.
Scalia died.
Yeah. Who did it? Somebody did it or like stepped down, or I don't know. Maybe that was a Democrat.
Sandra Day O'Connor retired.
Yeah. Like these people retired. They say, okay, let me go so that somebody young can, and then that's a political strategy. It is political. I don't care what anybody says. These are human beings. There's no way you can say that they're sitting here really looking at. That's why you have strict constructionists, broad constructionists. It's whatever the wind blows today. I feel like talking about to make my side win. That's all they do. I don't care what anybody says.
But if all these people love to talk about our framers and all their infinite wisdom and all this bullshit, that's how it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be an impartial branch, a check on the two political branches, where politics didn't play out. regardless of of course you're going to be.
But has it ever been though?
But no, but of course you're going to have conservative leanings and interpretations, and you're going to have liberal, like that's just part of the minds, right? But it wasn't supposed to be at the whims of the political party in charge, in the sense that the American people overwhelmingly did not want Roe v. Wade to be overturned.
When it was implemented, when it was decided in the first place, what was the
Republican, I believe, a Republican appointed justice wrote the opinion for that case. So it wasn't, but at the time, this wasn't a Republican issue either. This wasn't a Republican Democrat issue.
It was just an issue.
That's how this got messed up. Like now it's like, oh, whose side is this issue? Whose side is this issue? Let's get a case before. Half of these cases aren't even real conflicts.
Yeah.
They're a lot of this manufactured to get before the court to push your agenda. So this is how illegitimate the court is. This is how, like, it's bullshit. It's just, what did someone call them? Politicians in black robes. It's all the same now. It's like, especially when you got somebody married to somebody who's trying to overthrow governments.
Yeah, how is that okay?
Yeah. I don't understand. Someone got to impeach him. He no. And impeach him now.
He didn't even talk for a long time, and then now he's not trying to talk.
But if we're going to do it, impeach him now so we can get somebody up in there.
Yeah, can we talk about that? Why aren't these Democrats being strategic? Again, what is the game plan?
I don't know what
all they care about is just using people, and I don't think they're any different. I don't know what to do.
That's a politician. I don't get it either. I don't get it.
We're the activists.
I don't know. Yeah. Everybody's talking stuff, but they're all just kind of sitting there on their hands.
Yeah. I'm talking, but I want to do something. I literally have no idea what to fucking do.
I'm talking about the politicians.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I feel you on that.
I don't know what to do. Like, I want to do something, throw money at it, but I'm not throwing money to these people.
But it's not a throw money. I was thinking that too. I was like, you can throw money at it, but what's that doing? Like, they just take their pocket of the money.
Yeah, then BLM gonna buy some houses and shit. Come on.
I don't think money is the problem here. It's a lack of
influence.
What's that you sent something this morning? Like, oh, a march is cute. That's cute. But like, it's just, what is it? Nobody's afraid of women taking selfies of themselves with their signs. And that's part of why, like, the idea of a march sounds great.
Oh my God, let me show you this picture.
But it also sounds like BS. You're out in the streets doing what? Having a public temper tantrum about something. Right. That's what that is. And then what? And then what are we doing?
What's the outcome? Like, what's the goal? It's a show in mass that people, but we already know that. I don't know. Like, I felt like I didn't do the women's march back in the day because it looked like a party, you know, people out there like taking selfies, having a grand old time. And it's like a solemn, I wanted to show you this picture I took of these girls yesterday who were they weren't I guess that's protesting still. Like, they were at an event that wasn't a protest, but they had their signs. And you could see the contrast. Like, two girls were like, and it's like serious.
Because they got to do it for the gram.
And they're smiling. And then the other two girls were like, you know, they were trying to be more solemn. But it was so fun. Let me show you.
I mean, let's pull up footage, like for real, of Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. What did they, and Sojourner Truth, when they were walking, when they were working, were they smiling and being cute?
But they did footwork. Like, that's the thing.
But I'm just saying, strategic... like, how can anybody take you seriously if you're not showing that you are serious about this? If you're out here in the streets, and this is whatever. I was looking at stuff on the news videos, and there's women out here just crying, couldn't even talk. And I'm like, bitch, pull it together.
Get your shit together.
What are you doing?
I mean, you have a right to cry. I'm sure it's a
But you can be emotional, yes. But I'm just sitting here like, you can be up on the news speaking about a cause that's very important. And you sit like the crying that, like, but it was
just to see the faces, like, what is this going to do? Yes, most people are on board. Like, I don't know. That's the thing with the Electoral College too.
But I mean, or you go to the civil rights movement, where people out there trying to be cute. I mean, they were cute, you know, they always some style, you know what I'm saying? But
look at this.
Hands off my uterus. Ban gun, not abortion. She's smiling.
Look at them smiling and them trying to be serious.
I can't.
Like, you
can't take that seriously.
And then they feel so good, so satisfied that they did something. And I'm like, you didn't do anything. I didn't do anything either.
Right.
But I want to do something. I just don't know what to do.
Well, voting is something.
That's
That
the
is
bare
something.
minimum, and voting for these assholes who still ain't doing shit. But
But I
yes.
mean, there's people out there who are upset who didn't vote right, don't vote often or regularly, aren't vocal about their vote. Um, I think it's really hard when you've got people trying to dismantle your ability to vote also. So there's again another helplessness of like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's fucked
Well,
up.
if anybody is
I
from the
don't
EU
know.
or anybody from EU or
Oh, you gotta find your same.
we're looking for someone to save, I'm
How about a
here.
Canadian boo? Would you take a
Yeah,
Canadian
if
boo?
you're Canada is so close. If
Canadian.
y'all want to come save a hoe, please call me. Y'all see my profile, got my info in the DMs. Comment, like, subscribe, share. I'm just kidding. Please, like now I see, like I'm trying to be 90 day. Get me out of here, man.
I don't know what's happening. It's an overwhelming sense of dread. And I was
Yeah.
talking to my husband about it too, and we don't share the same beliefs on a lot of things. But yesterday he was like, "Doesn't it feel like things are going south? Like things aren't going right?"
Literally.
Said, yeah. They
And I
really
can't imagine, like I said that yesterday, like as much as I said I want kids, I'm starting to be like, oh no. What is this building
what are
up for
they gonna
them?
have?
What kind of
Yes.
world is that? My
I felt
friend
that
who
yesterday.
has kids, she's like, she and her husband are and he's in a high demand role, so they can probably get a job visa, a work visa for Canada, but they are looking to expatriate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not mad at that. I have several friends who's lucky to have one parent in another country, so they've gotten their visas and they're out of here. And I'm like, gosh, I wish I don't have, like, slavery took that away from me. I don't know where to go. If anybody is taking, like, I want to almost do a political test and be like, can we apply for asylum? Let's just start. Is that a form of protest? Just apply, see what happens. Apply for asylum in these countries and see what happens. Like, I should start with Canada. Let me seek political asylum. Let me write that down. I'm going to do it.
I love Canada. I saw last night somebody, posted something on Facebook or one of the places. And in the comments, it was just like, well, there's still no better country than America. Like, it's that blind patriotism that there's still no better country than America. This is the best place on earth to live, and da, 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 all this stuff. And somebody was like, yeah, maybe 30 years ago, or maybe however many years ago, like, shit is going crazy. It's going sideways.
I know what they mean, especially having traveled a lot and
but
been
we're not
different
the
places.
Only.
Yeah, we're not the only, we're not the best, but it is something unique about living here where we have a certain freedom to be assholes. And I think that's the problem.
Like, a freedom to get shot in the face.
Yeah, it's like I can live in peace. Like, I'm old enough, like maybe if I were younger, I would want to stay here for that adrenaline of, that, but
dodging bullets.
I feel like I'm old enough where I want to be settled down anyway. So I could live in another country just fine. There are some things like the overtaxing, but you get benefits from that. It's not like they're just taxing you for no reason. Little government interferences that we don't have, but also like places like the EU respect right to privacy. This is a disrespect of a right to privacy. All this talk about privacy, and you can't even control your own body.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it too, and I always say to people who I have different viewpoints from, like, your viewpoint is still valid because it's your view. You're just seeing it through your lens, through your experiences, through your vantage point, right?
What does valid mean? I don't think I even understand that word anymore.
Like I don't know either, but I feel like that's your viewpoint. I can't tell you that you viewing it wrong. Like, that's just how you see it, and I disagree. I may disagree or whatever, but I think if you don't have the threat of, and it sounds fucked up, the threat of pregnancy, you cannot understand the desire for autonomy in that situation. You cannot understand. Well,
I don't have it, and I still understand. There's a level of empathy.
You could get pregnant, is what I'm saying. A man could, like,
yeah, this is impossible.
They don't know. They don't know what it's like to literally. When I was in college, I had friends who have chosen to have abortions. I have driven them to their appointments, or I have walked them from the UCLA Medical Center back to their apartments. I've been there for. I can think of on one hand the friends that have made those choices, and it's not an easy choice. But I think if you had let's say you had a one night stand, let's say you had a boyfriend who, whatever, you're 19 or however old you are, what you really going to do? You know what I mean? Like what, and if you make that choice, I feel like it saves lives in a sense. Like it creates a more positive outcome for those women. There was an organization that actually paid for these services for college women, women who are going to school and who wanted to continue their education, because I feel like, it sounds dramatic, but I feel like having a child when you're not ready to have a child is almost like a death sentence on the life that you were on.
It's so common. It's so common now. I can't imagine what it's going to be like.
Well, I think it's glamorized by shows like Teen Mom and stuff. These women are getting paid. They're getting paid because they chose to have their baby or adoption, but it changes your life, and it's not as easy or doable as some of these shows make it out to be if you're 16, 17, 18, 20 even. But back to my original point, like men don't know that. Men can walk away. Men do walk away. And so women have to, I don't know, it would be interesting to see how many women are like, I'm not having sex with you anymore. We're not doing this. Let's see how men are negatively impacted by that. Like, I don't even want to risk it.
We need to get male birth control. We need to start doing more
punitive too. Like, okay, well, I'm pregnant now, so start paying for these doctor's appointments. I need to eat a lot of women foods. I need a pillow, one of them crazy pillows to lay in the bed. They're $60, $70, $80. Okay, let's get one of those. I'm pregnant. You got to support the pregnancy as well as the child when it's born, period.
And I mean, that's probably the end goal. Is that how it's supposed to be, I guess. But a lot of
it's how it's supposed to be.
Like a lot of women I've seen have been like, oh, I'm not even going to ask for child support. I'm an independent woman. I got like, why? That's not about you. That's selfish. It's not about you. I've seen it on like these dating shows and stuff I watch, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I have these kids and I'm not getting, I ain't even going to waste my time. I got these kids. I got like, and it's like, okay, that's all fine and dandy, but why not? These resources are supposed to be available to you.
Or hold him responsible.
Yeah. Like you're just letting him get away with irresponsibility. And then he's going to go out and have 3 or 4 kids with
He'll
5
be
or 6
on Maury. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Really, 3 or 4 kids with 5 or 6 other people. Can you math? How'd that work? The math ain't mathing.
I mean, some of those guys are on there and have,
but they're doing it
stuff. Yep. Yeah, and some of the kids are the same age, and it's like, oh, so you were cheating on this? It's like all dramatic.
Assuming there's relationships, now this builds off some of the stuff we talked. Situationships. Yeah. You've got all these things. Like, is this going to change that now? Are we going to stay poly? We still doing this stuff? What are we doing? What are we doing now? Like, we thought we was free to do all kinds of stuff.
It was free.
Throw things, every which kind of way. Are we still going to be doing that?
Yeah. I mean, I think abortion was never meant to be like the first stop of birth control.
No.
But it's like, if they're making birth control, I just blows my mind. I mean, it doesn't happen
just yet. The amount of sex, though. The amount of sex, I feel like it's going to be some real conversations. You thought consent was an issue with these men, like, oh, let's have a consent conversation. We're about to have some conversations. Like, should this turn out this kind of way?
Are you prepared?
What kind of money you make at your job? Let me figure that out first. These fuckboys about to be done. Okay.
Right.
And you know what? In a way, that's the seriousness, in my personal opinion, that sexual relations should have.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, you should know who you're doing this with. You should know. And I think that's a responsibility that women have always had. Let me know about you first. I don't know that you can get this because I don't know about you. I don't know.
Are you a viable partner?
The risk, if the risk of this is worth it for me.
I think that's natural. That's what animals do. Some animals, it's like you're just gonna suss it out. You just want to be mating with anybody.
But now the stakes are higher. But yeah, I mean, the issue of abortion in those situations, I could take it or leave it, because part of me feels like have some responsibility. It's whatever. But I think the part that really gets to me is the rape and incest.
That part, that's really disgusting.
And the fact that women, a lot of them are moms already. And if they're choosing to terminate a pregnancy, it must be for a real reason. If they already have children in this world, you think, oh, what's one more? Who knows? There could be a whole host of things going on. So it wasn't an easy decision. And a lot of these procedures are not an easy decision for women to do. I mean, people aren't just running up in there like, oh, you know. And then the bullshit about these late term abortions, I feel like they need to stop lying on people, because nobody is killing a whole baby.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I got to read it. So is this all abortions or is it 15 weeks? Because that was the number I saw. I kept seeing 15 weeks.
The Supreme Court has basically, what they're doing is washing their hands of this and throwing it back to the states.
To the states,
so each state gets to make, which is kind of like how do we live in a patchwork like that?
States' rights, baby.
Yeah, but part of that makes me feel like, how do we take something that was a fundamental constitutional right, and now it's, hey, wherever you live, good luck. And now they're trying to find ways. I guess they were talking about criminalizing leaving the state to go do something, because if you live in, like, I don't know, Idaho, and you need to go to Washington to have a procedure done, like that could be, they can regulate that. Can they regulate interstate travel? I don't know. That's
long arm statute. That's civil.
Ooh,
I don't know.
You love Civ Pro. You love.
I do. Let me some Civ.
But for criminal.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have a friend from college who posted something that was, she lives in Minnesota. I think she's like, listen, if you have a niece or a daughter who needs to come to Minnesota for a job interview or to look at grad school, in quotes or whatever, I have a couch, I have a car, I can take time off of work,
Oh, I think I know that friend. I still want to visit. I wasn't kidding. I actually going to look, because I found out one of my friends is doing a tenured track visit in Minnesota. So I'm like, I want to go.
I think you're going to have a whole lot of these safe houses, safe havens.
Underground Railroad. Here we go.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch how this plays out.
And it's all those states are failing. Like, it's states that aren't thriving. Like, let me see the ones that have it completely. Yeah, it's Oklahoma, like nobody wants to be there anyway.
Idaho, some of them southern states, Arkansas.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Those trigger laws.
Nobody wants to live there anyway.
But we still need to care about the women that do live there. Like, it's still.
Let's see, which countries have abortion illegal? Afghanistan. Okay, that sounds about right.
Controlling women's bodies.
Prohibited altogether in red. Funny, that's mostly Africa. A lot of Africa has it illegal. This has to be updated because it has the United States as green. Not anymore, y'all. Nigeria only allowed to save a woman's right. Brazil only allowed to save a woman's life. Mexico only allowed to save a woman's life. Australia only allowed before a certain number of weeks. Wow, China only before a certain amount of weeks. I didn't know that. I thought it wasn't allowed. Socioeconomic, that's so interesting. India is allowed under a range of socioeconomic, so not even health. You could die, but hey, you can't afford this. Zambia, socioeconomic. Finland, socioeconomic. UK, socioeconomic. Huh? That's interesting.
What does that mean? What does socioeconomic mean?
Let's see. For a range of socioeconomic circumstances.
Oh, so if you can't afford to care for this child, maybe it's for those who.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but what about the health?
More children in poverty. I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't know.
I think as with anything though, the outrage on this is going to die down.
Yep. Maybe on next.
Women are just going to be like, okay. Because if you live in a blue state, if you live in a state, California, I live in California, they're codifying it now into like the state constitution as a right. So it's for the people who live in those red states or those states that
purple state like here.
Washington still, I'm moving to Washington shortly. It's still, and then I also feel like I'm of a certain age. This doesn't impact me.
Yep.
Really. It's more so for my daughter and other daughters, other younger women, to have control over their lives. And that's the thing that I'm afraid of the most is just
autonomy.
Yeah.
No bodily autonomy.
This makes me think of Tupac.
What did he say?
Isn't it?
There ain't no hope for the future.
No, we can't.
Yes.
And since we can't make one, we have no right to tell a woman when and where to create one.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac.
Tupac was with the gin. That's why they killed him. They always killed the thought leaders.
Aware. He was aware.
Mm-hmm. You can't be woke. You got to be stupid on some bullshit. They love that. That makes money. Keep the people dumb. Keep the masses stupid.
And keep them coming. Populate.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Literally. Yep.
I don't know.
I have nothing else to say.
It's about to be a wait and see. That's all. I mean, that's all we can just see.
Everybody
see what happens.
Gonna protest, vote people out, and the people that come with the same bullshit is we don't have anything in place to, or if they even do. That good point.
Here's the thing though, is they've passed. They had a bipartisan gun bill. That's, I don't know if it got voted in the Senate yet, whatever, but they did that. They did a thing, right, that we didn't think they would be able to do. So I wonder now if maybe it's just the right time for things to, for things to happen, because we thought that would never happen. Now that they've overturned Roe v. Wade, are women going to mobilize? Are they going to get their shit together? You've got Republicans like Susan Collins and Murkowski and I don't know her first name. I can't think of her first name. I don't know why. Is she a Susan too?
I know someone just thanked Trump for
yeah, he's saying I did that. He did. You know, he did, but it's a very Trumpian thing. You know, I did that. But
that man's legacy, I think people underestimate Trump, but still his legacy, man.
I don't think people underestimate him. I think people hate him. And I think they know what he's capable of.
Now they
doing.
do, at least. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was pretty away. You know, I thought so. I mean,
I thought a lot of like journalists, like a lot of people were taking Trump as a joke and didn't take it seriously.
He's still a joke. But it's like twofold. You know, he's a joke with a lot of power.
But I think they were thinking like it was going to be like a nothing serious would happen, and now here we are.
But this is why you can't fuck around with your vote. People out here writing
you have to get out and vote
and stuff. They're doing stupid stuff.
And that's another thing. A lot of these young people don't vote. They fake, they front and make it look like they voted, and they don't actually get out there and go vote. I've witnessed that even just anecdotally. And it's like, you got to get out there and just do the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum. It doesn't even do anything really, but it's better than nothing.
But I feel like it's a duty.
It should be.
You get to just live here. You know, and that's like comes back to some very political theory shit that I'm into. It's like, you don't get to just live here and reap the benefits of a quote unquote free society without contributing in some meaningful way. And the very base is to go push some buttons, fill in some circles, and call it.
And then we have the Electoral College, which makes all of that you fill it out and then it's futile. So we have like the middle of America. We have fewer people ruling the masses. Is that fair? No, because you don't want by majority, you don't want tyranny by majority, but also I feel like this is tyranny by the minority. Like, I don't know, like there's got to be a middle ground.
They need to fix it somehow.
And I don't know who they are, because they are we, and we don't know.
Well, no, ain't nobody listening to we though.
Yeah, but I mean, in each end of it, not us. I wasn't being literal, like not me and you, but just the people. Like we,
the representatives aren't listening to the constituents.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
So that's the problem. But yeah, hopefully this is a moment of mobilization on this. I'm very interested to see, because there were Republicans who were stupidly saying they were duped by these Supreme Court nominees at the time, and it's like, you were not duped.
They did lie though.
Yeah, but they
know. Yeah, they know. At the parties, they were like, "Yo, yeah, you gonna overturn that, right? But we gonna go in there and be like."
But Trump was saying, "I'm choosing them from this list from the Federalist Society, whose aim is to overturn Roe v. Wade." So when they get in front of you, of course they're not going to be like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna turn this." No, that's not. They've been lying since Clarence Thomas was being interviewed or his hearings or whatever. So it's you had to know there was an agenda. There's always an agenda.
We're a young country, and I think people forget that we're very young. So we don't know where we're going, what's going to happen. And this is all part of a developing country. I mean, developing like in time.
We need to fight for it, though. I mean, if it's been set up in such a way that we should have a voice. We should be
Mhm.
able to impact the way this country is continuing to be formed. And there was a loud voice, a focused voice, the pro-life movement for since Roe, right? They've been working on this. So it's been 50
Mhm.
years that they've been fighting this. And that's why it's not super precedent.
Remember they were killing
Like Brown v. Board.
doctors?
Yeah, they still doing stuff like that. And it's so
Yeah.
funny because they keep saying, oh, we've been peaceful and pro-life and all this stuff, and you're out here shooting abortion clinics up. It sucks. It was a really bad mood on Friday. It was a bad day.
Mhm.
But I think,
It didn't make it better. Yeah.
No, yeah, it was just added to the, ugh, this is shit,
Yeah.
But hopefully somebody gets it together to do something
Yeah.
in a bipartisan kind of way.
Cory Booker, where you at? Come on, this is your time
What's
to
he gonna
shine.
do? No, it needs to be women. These men need to sit down and have a seat and let women speak on women's issues. So, but
I don't know. I feel like we need a combination. We need a combination of people, because it is that thing where men don't listen to what, I mean, I'm speaking in generalization,
but you
people,
speaking truth, you speaking facts.
Don't listen. So it's like we need an interpreter. We need like a
guru. We need
we call it coalition. Yes, or I don't know,
something. But I feel like it's all at once. We had shootings of children. We have rights being taken away. It's hot. Just all
right.
Too many things,
yeah, like global warming, like
COVID. I mean, it's too much. Monkeypox is too much. So we need some good. We need some good. We need to find some good. So if you're listening to this, find something good for your own mental health. Find something good. Don't go spiraling out of control.
Yeah, please don't. It's not fun. All right.
Okay, boo.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Two Girls Shooting the Shit with Em and Mo. Please enjoy this mindful moment. Pro-choice does not mean pro-abortion. Pro-choice means that no matter what my personal feelings and beliefs about abortion are, I understand it's not my place to make a decision for another woman about what she can and can't do with her body.